Welcome to the deep dive, where we really try to get under the surface of things that matter.
Glad to be diving in.
So, have you ever had that feeling like you're standing at the very beginning of something important, maybe a goal or even a spiritual path, and there's this little nagging thought,
Uh-huh.
status, not started. It's like you know you want to move forward, but feel like you haven't even left the gate.
Oh, absolutely. That's such a common feeling, isn't it? That sense of inertia.
It really is. Well, today we're digging into Lesson 197 from A Course in Miracles Workbook for Students. It's sometimes called the Gratitude Pathway Lesson.
Ah, yes. A really interesting one.
And our mission here is to unpack how this idea of gratitude, well, how it's maybe more than just saying thank you, how it can be a real tool for understanding and acceptance.
Especially when you're stuck in that not started feeling.
Exactly. So let's get into it. What's the first thing that jumps out about this lesson?
Well, for me, it's how it kind of flips the script on feeling stuck or behind. Usually we think gratitude comes after we achieve something.
All right, like a reward. I'll be grateful when I finish this project or when I finally understand this concept.
Precisely. But this lesson suggests something, well, pretty different. It says that gratitude itself, that feeling right here, right now, that's the starting point.
So it's not the destination, it's the vehicle.
You could say that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the way in. The sources put it quite clearly. Gratitude is a pathway to understanding and acceptance.
Okay, a pathway. How does that work? How does feeling grateful lead to understanding?
It seems to be about focus, where you put your attention, when you're focused on what you don't have or what you haven't done.
Like feeling not started.
Exactly. You're focused on lack. It can feel heavy, maybe overwhelming, but gratitude, it shifts your focus.
So it's already there.
Yes, to what is present, what you do have, what you can appreciate, even small things. And that shift, apparently, opens the door to seeing things differently, to understanding.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
Like if you're trying to learn something complex, maybe like the course itself,
Yeah,
it's easy to feel lost.
very easy. Overwhelmed by how much there seems to be.
But if you stop and feel genuinely grateful for, say, the one insight you did grasp today, or just for having the time to even read a passage,
Then you're starting from a place of, well, fullness, not emptiness. It's a much more positive and, frankly, manageable place to begin. It anchors you.
okay, so let's talk more about that status not started idea. It resonates because I think we all feel that way sometimes, right? About different areas of life.
Absolutely. Career, personal growth, spiritual practice. That feeling of being stuck at square one is pretty universal.
So how does Lesson 197 reframe that specific feeling?
It does something quite radical. It essentially says, okay, you feel like you haven't started, understood. But guess what? Your journey toward enlightenment and understanding, it actually begins with a grateful heart. Right now.
Whoa. So the feeling of gratitude isn't proof you've arrived somewhere. It is the starting line itself.
That's the implication, yeah. It reframes the entire journey. Progress isn't measured by external milestones alone, but by the internal state of appreciation.
So that potential for growth we're seeking, it's not out there somewhere in the future.
It's right here, in this moment. And our attitude, specifically a grateful one, is what helps us access it. One source explicitly says, every moment holds potential for growth, and our attitude can greatly influence our experiences.
Attitude is key then. It's not just waiting for circumstances to change, but changing our inner state first.
Exactly. And this ties directly into the broader context of A Course in Miracles.
Also.
Well,
Okay.
the Course is fundamentally about shifting perception, right?
Mhm.
Seeing the world and ourselves differently. And gratitude keeps coming up as like a really crucial tool for that shift.
Like it helps you see past the illusions or the problems.
Sort of. It helps cultivate a state of mind that's more open, more receptive. When you're focused on appreciation, you're less caught up in judgment or grievance. And that openness is where insights, or what the Course might call miracles or moments of spiritual awakening, can happen.
So it's not just feeling good, it's actually preparing the ground for deeper understanding, for those aha moments.
That seems to be the idea. Focusing on appreciation can lead to profound insights because it changes the lens through which you're viewing everything.
Okay, let's get practical then. We've talked about the why shifting perspective, opening to insight, but how? How does practicing gratitude actually shift things day to day?
It really comes down to actively redirecting your attention away from lack towards appreciation.
Simple, but maybe not easy.
Well, it takes practice, like any skill.
Mm.
The sources suggest it works because when you consistently recognize and appreciate what you do have,
Instead of ruminating on what's missing.
right, your whole perspective starts to shift. You actually start noticing more things to be grateful for. It's like you tune your frequency to abundance rather than scarcity.
And that opens you up to seeing potential you might have missed before.
Exactly. As one source notes, this recognition can shift our perspective and open us to deeper insights. It's an active opening up.
Okay, so what are some concrete ways the sources suggest we cultivate this? I know you mentioned journaling.
Yeah, gratitude journaling is a classic for a reason. Just the simple act of writing down, say, 3 things you're genuinely grateful for each day.
Does it have to be big things?
Not at all. Could be tiny. The warmth of your coffee, a supportive friend, a moment of quiet. The key is the consistency. It trains your brain.
Trains it to look for the good. I
Yeah.
like that. What else?
Mindful acknowledgement. This is more about being present in the moment.
How does that work?
So throughout your day, you consciously pause and notice something positive, something you appreciate, and really feel the gratitude for it. Not just think it, but feel it.
Like really savoring that cup of coffee, not just gulping it down while thinking about the next thing.
Precisely. It brings appreciation into the present moment, makes it more visceral.
And acts of kindness were mentioned too. How does that connect?
Well, expressing kindness towards others can be a powerful way to express gratitude for your connections, for the good in your life. It reinforces that feeling of interconnectedness and abundance.
It creates a positive loop, maybe. You give out kindness, you feel more connected and grateful.
Exactly. It enhances that sense of belonging and shared positivity.
The sources also pointed to more structured exercises. Meditation.
Uh-huh. Specifically, meditation focused on gratitude, taking maybe 5 or 10 minutes just to sit quietly, bring things you're thankful for to mind, and really let those feelings expand.
Soaking in the feeling, basically.
Yeah, allowing it to really resonate without distraction. It can deepen the experience significantly.
And affirmations. Things like, I am grateful for.
Affirmations work on reprogramming thought patterns. By consciously stating things like, I am grateful for the abundance in my life, even if you don't fully feel it at first.
You got to steering your mind in that direction.
Exactly. You're reinforcing a positive, appreciative mindset, counteracting habitual negative or scarcity-based thinking.
So we have journaling, mindful moments, kindness, meditation, affirmations. Quite a toolkit.
A very practical toolkit, yes.
What's the overall impact then if someone starts incorporating these? How does it change their actual lived experience, their relationships?
The sources strongly suggest it leads to, well, more positive experiences overall. More joy, more contentment in daily life.
Because you're noticing the good more.
Partly that, and partly because the feeling of gratitude itself is inherently positive and fulfilling. It shifts your inner state.
Relationships.
Big impact there, too. When you approach your relationships with a focus on appreciating the other person, appreciating the connection.
Instead of focusing on their flaws or what annoys you.
Right. It naturally fosters more positive interactions. It strengthens bonds. You tend to treat people better when you're actively appreciating them, and that, of course, improves the relationship dynamic.
Okay, this is really helpful. Let's try to distill this down. If someone listening wants the key takeaways from this deep dive into Lesson 197, what are they?
Okay, first, gratitude isn't just a nice feeling. It's presented here as an active pathway, a way to get somewhere specifically, to understanding and acceptance.
Got it. Active pathway. What else?
Second, that feeling of status, not started, it gets reframed. The journey, the real spiritual journey, begins right now, in this present moment, with a grateful heart. Progress isn't somewhere else.
Oh, the start is internal, not external. No.
Third, shifting your focus is key. Moving attention from what's missing to what is present. That's what opens the door to deeper insights. And in the course's terms, spiritual awakening.
Focus determines reality, in a way.
You could say that. Fourth, there are practical, concrete things you can do. Journaling, mindful acknowledgement, acts of kindness, meditation, affirmations. These aren't just abstract ideas, they're tools.
Tools to cultivate the grateful perspective. And finally,
This grateful perspective genuinely impacts your life. It leads to more positive personal experiences and healthier, stronger relationships. It changes how you show up in the world.
that's a great summary. And just briefly, you mentioned terms like spiritual practice and spiritual awakening.
Yeah, just for clarity within this context. Gratitude here isn't just being polite. It's Treat it as a conscious spiritual practice, a way of seeing and being.
And spiritual awakening.
In this framework, it's about an increasing awareness, a shift in perception towards truth or reality, as the Course defines it. And gratitude is seen as a really important catalyst for that shift.
Okay, that helps frame it.
Hmm.
So, as we wrap up, the real question goes back to you, the listener. What does it actually mean to you to approach your life right now with a spirit of gratitude? Thinking about your current situation, your relationships, how might really leaning into gratitude shift things for you?
That's the core question to reflect on, isn't it?
It really is. And maybe one final thought to leave you with.
Yeah.
If you were to consistently practice this gratitude, what potentials, what opportunities might start to reveal themselves? Things you maybe haven't even noticed before because your focus was, well, elsewhere.
That's powerful. What gets illuminated when you shift the light of your attention?
That's exactly. Definitely some food for thought there. Thank you so much for exploring this lesson with me. Really insightful.
My pleasure. It's a lesson with a lot to unpack.
It certainly is. Thank you all for joining us on The Deep Dive. We'll catch you next time.